Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. And first thing I want to show off is the cool new t-shirt from Brian Mulcahy. So thank you very much, Brian, for the cool t-shirt. Super comfy and looks awesome. So I've done it again. Went to the hobby shop and I had a coupon and I needed paint. And those two things get me in trouble almost every time. I did get some paint. So we got some more PS16 because I'm going to burn up the stuff that I have for the little Avante kits. I have some for an upcoming build. I have some for a build I'm doing for a friend of mine. I also picked up this Spastics mirror chrome to try to test out on the wheels. Well, just to test to see how well the chrome works and how easy it is to be scratched off. So this is a potential candidate for the wheels for the Sledgehammer restoration. And another giant can of the Traxxas Pro Graphics Black. I'm not a huge fan of supporting Traxxas, but their paints are really, really good. And this can doesn't cost a whole lot much more than one of these cans do. And, you know, black and white is just black and white. So, you know, I buy the big cans of the black, big cans of the white, in the Traxxas stuff just to try to save money and always have some on hand. So I know some of you are like, okay, what did you buy? And some of you are kind of wondering what that whole intro was about. Well, I have a problem with things following me home from the hobby shop when I go in for paint, especially if I have a coupon code. So, funnily enough, Friday morning they had sent me a coupon code in email for $20 off a purchase of over $100. So this is the Arrma Gorgon, and this is the ready to assemble, the RTA kit. So it's a fully decked out truck. It has everything you need in this kit to get up and running. It has the truck, it has the controller, it has the battery, it has the charger. And with the $20 off coupon for $150 for a two-wheel drive monster truck that is ready to go once you put a little bit of effort into building it, not a bad idea at all. And this is the same price as the ready to runs. The ready to run kits are the green version and the red version. They have this one, the black version, that's the ready to assemble. And then they have the blue version, which is the pre-built truck. And it's ready to go, except it does not come with the 7-cell battery or the Spectrum Smart Charger. So I figured, I like building. You know, I'd rather build it than have it pre-built for me. Plus, I kind of like the whole blacked out look better than the bright colored ones. The bright colored ones were cool looking, and if I was going to get one, I'd probably gotten the red one. Just because the plastic bumpers and the other red accents matched the paint job a little bit better. Off the box, you know, they didn't have any out in the open for me to see, but, you know, I just kind of like that whole blacked out look of this one. And, you know, building the kits for me is most of the fun anyway. So I'm going to get this unboxed. I'm not going to go through it piece by piece. We'll get it out. We'll get it on the bench. I'll kind of show you around what we got. And then I'm going to get it put together. I'm going to see how long it takes me to put it together. And then once we get it all put together, of course, while it's being put together, I'm charging up the battery with the Spectrum Smart Charger. And then we're going to take it out and run it around. Okay, so I want to apologize for the glare on the bags, but I wanted to kind of go through this real quick because I like the way they did this. So you have all your bags here. So there's quite a few packed into that small little box. And each bag is labeled bag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, until you get to the very last step, which is the battery. But all of these have their individual steps. But in here, like in bag 2, the whole diff is pre-built. It's got the bearings on there. It's got the half shafts already put on. So, you know, all you're doing is putting this into the car. You don't actually have to build the diff. So like bag 3 looks like a rear bulkhead and the arms are pre-mounted to it. So it's not a complete build-it-yourself kit, but there is a lot of building to be done in this. So overall, really cool. And the wheels are not black. I thought they were black, but they're actually like a nice, cool, like gunmetal gray almost looking. But it matches the body really nice, the gray lettering on the Gorgon. But it also comes with your 4 AA batteries for the controller. It has your tools and stuff in here. Not sure what's in the little box yet. It does come with what looks like a spare bag of hardware. Now, I did want to note that in the box, and as I was taking hardware out, there was a washer and a cross pin that had evidently fallen out of one of these. So just be careful when you are unboxing it. Make sure you check the box really well to make sure that there's no missing or no extra parts floating around. I don't know what they came out of yet, but I'm just going to set them to the side, and then we'll get to that in a minute. So that is basically everything you're going to get in the kit as it's laid out. So lots and lots of bags, but it should be a pretty quick build. Well, that went well. I started, once I had everything laid out on the bench, it was 12:30 p.m. It is now 1:25 p.m. The truck is complete. All the tools are put away. And, you know, there was nothing frustrating or difficult about it. Now, I will say I did cheat and use a power driver on quite a few of the screws. Now, I don't recommend that if you're a new builder, but it does help. You know, you just have to be careful because these are machine threads going into plastic, and it doesn't seem like you're over tightening them, and next thing you know, it just wants to spin. I didn't strip out anything, but again, I've done this a lot, so I feel pretty comfortable with using the tool. Now, they do give you all three size Allen wrenches that you'll need. So you need a 2.5 for some of the bigger screws mounting the rear bulkhead, and there was something else. Oh, the front hinge pins needed a 2.5. Most everything is a 2mm, and you have your little 1.5 for the grub screw on the pinion. Now, I will leave a link in the description of these Hobby Park hex drivers. Super cheap. And I have built a ton of stuff with them. I think I'm on my third set, and that's just because I have made bad decisions and broke the 1.5 driver out of the set. So I just, you know, I think it's like $13 or something I can usually get them for. You know, you can't even replace this part usually for $13 on a normal driver. So I would suggest if you're picking this up, see if your hobby shop has a cheap set of these, or go to Amazon and pick up a set. It'll probably be here before your truck gets here, and a good thing to have. There are some long screws, so you're going to be doing a lot of turning. These things will start to hurt your fingers after a while. It does come with this little pew-pew looking wrench. It's like a multi-function wrench for adjusting. Well, you put the wheel nuts on here. There's two nuts on the front suspension that you use a small side for, and then the big end here is for adjusting the pressure on the slipper clutch. You do have a bag of spring adjusters, the little clips in here. This little bag of hardware is spare, so they do give you some spare bits and pieces. So you have a few nuts, a few washers, a few of the pins, a few long screws, a few short screws. So that's really nice that they're giving you some extra screws in case one hits the carpet, rolls away, and you can't find it. You know, it's nice to have a few spares in the kit. The mystery silver washer was not from this truck. All the washers that come with it are black, so I don't know where this little mystery silver washer was. It's possible it was somewhere on the bench, but, you know, you saw when I started off, the bench was clear. I didn't see anything on the bench. Same thing with the little cross pin. I checked cross pins, everything was in there, so I don't know. Anyway, it looks great. It's not quite as tall as a Stampede. Stampede's going to stand up a little bit taller. It's going to have a little bit more ground clearance underneath, but you know, this still has, you know, this much ground clearance. So running it in the grass and stuff like that is not going to be a problem. I love, there's no body clips up here. So this literally has a big body clip here and a big body clip here that pins on underneath, and the whole body comes off, and you have the plastic bracing front and rear. So that is really, really nice. Everything went together really, really well. The servo just drops in. The servo is probably the... Forgot to turn my speaker off. The servo is probably the trickiest part of getting it in here. It just slides in, but those screws are really far down in there. And if you're using one of these, you know, you're going to be fumbling around trying to get that started with down in those holes. So just take your time, you know, get it dropped into place, tip the truck over on its side, work the screws in, you'll get them started no problem. I was a little worried about, you know, the chassis being that two-plate design, and it's kind of only held together by a few screws when you get it. You know, it's pre-assembled. The two halves are put together, but there's only a few screws holding it together. And I'm like, yeah. But all of this, front and rear, captures all of that. So, you know, it is rigid once you get it all put together. It has a nice kind of crash zone front bumpers on it, so it has the little hoop in there to kind of absorb a straight-on hit. The tires are super, super soft. There are no foams in them, and they are vented. So, you know, you have a hole on the tires themselves. There's one there, and I think there's one on the top, one on the bottom. Now, that's great when you're running it around in water and stuff like that. You can run through the water. The water will get itself out of the tire, so any dust and water that gets in the tire will eventually come back out of those holes, and you don't have any foams in there to break down. Because the one thing that breaks down foams the quickest is when you have dust and water inside, and it just starts grinding on that foam and deteriorating that foam. So, kind of cool that it doesn't have the you know, foams inside, so you don't have to worry about those things breaking down and, you know, your truck being riding one way when you first get it, and 6 months down the line it rides completely different. This should stay pretty same. The plastics in it feel really, really good. They feel like a very, very tough, rigid plastic, but not to the point where it's brittle. Everything has a bit of flex to it, but this, I will have to say, this has got that Arrma Tough feeling to it. The battery tray is super simple. 2 clips. The battery door pops out. Your battery pops in. You plug it in here. You slide your little battery door back in, clip it in, and it's in there. You know, it's got a firm click when you snap that in there. So I'm not too worried about that. And it keeps the battery as low as it possibly can in the chassis. So your battery's not sitting up even higher to, you know, keep that roll center down. It does have the 2-in-1 ESC and receiver in it. It is LiPo compatible, so you have a little jumper plug here, so you can jump it from the nickel metal hydride that it comes with. If you have LiPos, you can just click that over. So you definitely want to do that if you're running LiPos. You don't want to run your LiPos down too low and possibly damage the car or your battery. The servo is very quiet. You know, you can't hear it. I'm hoping it's got good gears in there, but it does have a beefy servo saver on there. It has rigid plastic links, so they will absorb some impact. The tires are super squishy. Again, they're going to absorb some impact. Arms, I have no question that those are going to hold up. Those things are stout. It has, you know, out of the box, it's really nice. It already came with preloads on the rear, which seem to be helping out because the rear, you know, is heavier. You have the motor and all that stuff back here and the gearbox. The gears in these things are like this wide. They're huge gears. They're huge. These spur gear and everything, it's kind of interesting. It just kind of snaps into place. Now, I'm assuming you know, it's all going to be held in there nicely once the cover's on, but, you know, it just kind of clicks into place. So there's actually no screws or anything holding that, you know, top counter gear in there. But again, it's like this wide. So even if it does pop out a little bit, you know, you still have 1.5 inches of gear left in there. You know, I have no complaints about it. This is the little SLT2 radio it has in there. Now, in this kit, they give you a support card. You can scan that to find videos and information and contact support. There is a showcase in there. I believe that's for, you know, uploading photos and stuff of your car. It has the support QR code on top of the radio, so in case something happens while you're out driving it, you can scan that from your phone and start watching videos and getting information about what may be going on with your car. Radio is simple, a nice padded wheel, you know, forwards, backwards, steering trim, steering rate, and reverse, and that's about it. Well, you do have the 50, 75, and 100% selector, so, you know, if this is for a little kid, you can put it down to 50% so they're not banging into everything right away, and then slowly bump it up. We're leaving it on 100%. The body looks fantastic. You know, of course, it has Arrma's flair with it, the dare to stare, because Gorgon is basically like a Medusa type thing. you know, the graphics are great. You know, not painted windows. I mean, not clear windows, but who cares? You know, it doesn't have an interior, so it doesn't matter. And they put the cool roll bars on the windows and everything. It does have some of the brand badging on it and everything. And it actually has the Medusa license plate on here. It has a little bit of a bash guard back here to, you know, help keep the rear of the body from breaking up, you know, as you flip backwards and land on the body. And it's also braced in here with the body mount system. Same with the front. It's got a big ABS type grill up front to try to help brace that front end, so, you know, rolling over, it's not folding down that rear on you, and it's fully braced on the inside. You know, for 170 bucks, going to go get one of these, it's a very fun build. You know, you can't get much simpler. It is open up, you know, bag one, open up bag two, put bag two thing in bag one, and then you just keep adding on one piece at a time. You know, once you get into the build, you know, you can see, okay, step 11 or step 10 and step 11 are just putting the left hand and right hand side on, so you can just say, okay, left and right, and, you know, unbag them both. Speaking of bags, Jesus, there is a lot of bags in here. Some of the, I think there's 21 bagged part bags, and in some of those there's 2 or 3 or 4 smaller bags in there. There's a lot of these tiny ones. Keep these guys. You know, you can keep these bigger ones too. You know, you can peel the stickers off of them or just keep the stickers on there, but keep these too. You can use those for part storage, for other stuff. These are great for little bits and pieces of hardware when you get a car. And, you know, you got that 7 or 8 different little chunks, put that in there. So I'm definitely keeping these little ones. The big ones I'm going to stick over in the corner. They may stay, they may go, I'm not sure. But again, you have your extra clips, you have your extra screws, and, you know, the only thing that I can say that you should probably get when you're getting one of these, if you don't have tools, is pick you up a set of the hex drivers, and again, link down in the description below. You know, if you're interested in Amazon ones, get a set of MIPs, get whatever your local hobby shop has. But really, the 2 biggest ones you're going to need is the 2.5 and the 2mm, and you could probably get away if you just need to buy one. Just get the 2mm. That's what most of the screws are. You can use the little Allen wrench keys that they give you to finish up. But we got it finished before the batteries finished charging. So this little charger is a Spectrum smart charger. It's a USB smart charger, and I should have known that it wasn't going to be done in an hour, but I was kind of hoping it would be, but it's still blinking away, so we're still charging. But this is a great one to put in a, you know, RC bag with you, so you have a charger with you. You don't have to carry anything big. It can run off of you can power it off of your car, you know, your laptop, whatever, if you need to charge a battery. Now this is a 3300 7-cell 8.4 nickel metal hydride pack that comes with, but it will run off of 2S. Again, you just have to move that little jumper. So I am going to let this battery fully charge. And then as soon as that's done, we're going to head outside and drive it. I'm probably not going to come back with a after drive talkie talk. I think this is going to go long enough. So as long as nothing crazy happens and I don't have anything to talk about, I will catch you guys on the next one. Everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe. And, you know, you may want to look at a Gorgon. It seems pretty cool. All right, guys. See ya. Well, that didn't last long. Now, it did break, and pardon the blue fingers, I've been Avante painting. So it did break. It was my fault. You know, I hit the pipe with it pretty hard, and you know, anytime you have a truck that has big tires on there that are sticking way out, and you hang that front tire on something and it bends back super fast, chances are you may break something. Now, what broke was the guts of the servo saver are now sticking out of the servo saver. So evidently it has a coil spring inside, I guess laying in a horseshoe type. So I don't know, I haven't taken it apart yet, but there's a springy thingy hanging out there. So outside of that, I was very impressed. It drives really nice. It's plenty fast. You know, I have no qualms about the truck itself. And really, I don't have an issue with the servo saver. It's gonna happen. I just wish it didn't happen 10 minutes into the run. This, on the other hand, so this thing, the charger that comes with it, this is a convenience. This is something to put in the car with you if you forgot to charge your battery overnight, and you can put some charge into it between, you know, here and work or here and wherever you're going to run. But this was on from 12:20 today till a little after 4 o'clock. And the battery still hadn't shown that it was fully charged. Basically, there's an indicator light on here. If it blinks on and off with one blink, it's pretty much dead. If it blinks twice and then blinks twice, then it has, you know, up to like 60 something percent. And if it blinks 3 times, it's somewhere between 60 something percent and 99%. And then it finally turns solid green once it's fully charged. 3.5 liters and it hadn't turned fully green. Don't rely on that charger. You'll drive yourself bonkers spending 4 hours, 5 hours at a time slow charging a battery with that. So you end up going to have to buy a battery charger at some point. Now, thankfully, Amazon has tons of battery chargers, super cheap, that do LiPo and stuff. They're not the smart chargers, so it doesn't have the little IntelliSense port on it and all that stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out and see what the damage is. I'll leave a picture up at the end, and you know, you guys can see what happened. So if I can fix it, I'll fix it. If not, then I'm gonna see if I can put a Kimbrough in there or something. But I know these Spectrum servos are generally weird spline. I think they're a 23 tooth spline, where 98% of the rest of the manufacturers do a 25 tooth spline. So we'll have to see what's in there and if it'll work or not. I don't want to rip the servo out yet because you have to take the front shock towers off and all that stuff. And servo's probably still fine. It's just the servo saver just barfed its guts. Anyway, don't look down on that issue. Overall, it was a great fun build. It was a great drive while it was driving. It was actually getting around the track really, really well. Out in the grass, you know, it was a little damp, so it was doing a lot of sliding, but you really can't get out of shape with it too much. It just kind of wants to slide at that rear, unload the diff, and slow down your turn so you don't flip it over. I didn't flip it one time the entire time I was out there running it, which wasn't long, but it didn't ever feel like it wanted to roll over. Never got it on 2 wheels. I did get one heck of a wheelie out of it at one point. It actually did catch traction and caught up. But, you know, I think these tires are going to save you from, you know, doing something crazy and putting it into a big tumble. A lot of times tumbles will tear out that servo saver too. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Sorry I had to come back and, you know, cut it short with the run, but, you know, hopefully you guys did see it runs well. It actually ran around the track really well. So overall, I'm very happy with the purchase. I think you guys will be too if you get one. Just maybe buy a servo saver when you're at the shop. See you guys.